Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Life back with another YouTube video. And in today's video, we're going to be doing, let's talk about the DC animated movie universe. So yeah, DC animated movie universe recently, as of like, I think it was 2019 when the last movie came out, basically just concluded. And I gotta say, it's probably one of the most underrated cinematic universes ever in history. It's very underrated. It's definitely a fun little cinematic universe. I do enjoy it. Uh, yeah, and just to be clear, I want to say I'm not talking about DC animated movies. I want to make that sure that's clear. I'm talking about the DCAU. Basically, the movies that came out from like Flashpoint, Paradox, all the way till Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. So I just wanted to make sure that was clear. But anyways, let's get into it. So yeah, again, like I just said, DC animated universe is definitely one of the most underrated movie universes ever. I've seen all these movies at least once, and I gotta say, most of them are pretty good. I mean, I do enjoy most of them. I gotta say, there's the occasional flop. I can't even lie, there's the occasional flop. Uh, Now let's just talk about the overall tone of it. I want to talk about that first. So first of all, the tone of it was definitely to be a lot darker. I gotta say, it's pretty dark. But later on, when we get later on to the cinematic universe, you'll notice that it's a lot more like it. A few of the movies are actually rated R. Uh, Even with the last movie being rated R, Dark Apocalypse War, like that was pretty interesting. I mean, Flashpoint Paradox kicked it off with a bang, and that had a lot of violence. I gotta say, uh, starting from like Thomas Wayne literally shooting Reverse Flash in the head, and you can literally see the hole through his head. So that's one thing I gotta say. First of all, like the tone of it was definitely another thing as well, because I think that also ties into why it's so underrated. Just because, like, first of all, not many kids are gonna be watching this unless you were, say, a young child when this first came out. I mean, personally, myself, when Flashpoint Paradox came out, I was like, I don't remember what age I was, but like, I was like youngish, like young child kind of thing. I I can't remember exactly what age I was, but pretty much the moral is there. Like, I kind of grew up with this. I mean, I watched all the movies growing up. I watched them all. Uh, and that's another thing too, was like, say somebody in born in, I don't know, 2015 would probably have a little bit less interest. Those people are probably, those are kids right now. They're 6 years old or something, 6 or 7. I don't know. There, but like, my point is, like, they're not gonna be really watching those movies and stuff like that. Whereas I, or a lot of other people as well, kind of grew up ish with the movies and stuff. And that's one thing. But I mean, next reason, like, personally, why I think it's so underrated, I just want to say this too, is also the fact that it was never in theaters. Like, these movies were never in theaters. They were always just direct to, I don't know what you call it, direct to Blu-ray or direct to DVD, or like early release. I'm not too sure what you call them, but basically they never went in theaters, and the only way you could really be getting them was through the Blu-ray or the DVD or whatever, or buying it digitally. So that was another reason too. Uh, Anyways, let's talk about it some more. So I also want to speak about this too, which I find is a very subject, is the whole cinematic universe as itself. Now, I gotta say, I really like the way it started off the universe. Now, it started off exactly like how New 52 would have started off, where basically Flash kind of restarted the universe, in the sense that we're kind of going to be seeing more and more and more as time goes on exactly what's going on with these new heroes and stuff like that. Like, that's something I actually really enjoyed, is like seeing how these teams progressed. Like, we even saw like the first team up of the Justice League, for example. The first time they saw Darkseid, how Aquaman joined, how all these characters joined. That's something I really liked. Now, personally, to me, that the movies that stick out to me, uh, definitely are the Batman ones. I really like those. I really like those. Specifically, Son of Batman and Batman vs Robin. those were really good. I really liked it. Some of my favorites right there, I gotta say. Uh, but I mean, it had some stellar movies. I gotta say, there's some movies that, of course, weren't too good. I'll say there's some movies as well that are just kind of don't fit well with it. In all honesty, like something like Suicide Squad: Hell to Pay doesn't feel like it fits really well with this. But I mean, I guess it's all right and stuff like that. Uh, yeah, that's one thing. But I mean, for the most part, it was really interesting to see all these characters. Another thing too is I want to talk about it's like how it's like New 52 basically, and if you notice it a lot, it's like basically like New 52 in a sense, because I'm pretty sure in Flashpoint Paradox, when they're robbing the Flashpoint Museum or the Flash Museum, I'm pretty sure that's supposed to take place right after Barry Allen comes back from that whole dead thing from like the 80s and early 2000s and 90s. So that's one thing. I'm pretty sure that's how it went. Uh, so yeah, it was interesting to kind of see New 52 in a sense, or DC Rebirth, I think. So yeah. Uh, Another thing I want to quickly talk about is the sense of just how these movies treated the characters. Now, like I said, it's a lot of movies. I can't remember exactly the number. I think it's over 15 at least. Uh, but one thing I kind of disliked was the treatment of some of the characters. I'm going to say right off the bat, Flash was kind of mistreated in this. I can't even lie. Like, we start off with a bang. We see Flash so much. It's awesome. And then afterwards, you barely see any of him. And it kind of sucks. I mean, I wish he played a more, like, a bigger role in this. Like, it feels as if maybe, like, what they did was literally they just, like, used him for one time and then just like, yeah, whatever. We don't care about him anymore. That's basically what happened, and I kind of disliked that a little bit. Like, that was kind of very much disappointing, in my opinion. I wasn't a huge fan of that like those choices, especially like with some of the characters they kind of mistreat as well. Like Nightwing was just bad. That was pretty bad. I mean, most of the time, Nightwing was just getting his butt kicked in like stupid ways. Like, first of all, literally a child beat the hell out of him with like ease, which is kind of stupid. I mean, Damian Wayne is pretty strong and stuff like that, but I mean, I find it a little stupid. Then we end up seeing in Dark Apocalypse where he dies that way. That is just dumb to me, personally. That's another character I kind of didn't like. Now, there's also a few other characters that I find should have been added as well. Like, there's characters that are missing as well, like that we know are actually in this universe. Like, for example, Wally West. He was shown in the Judas Contract once, but we never saw his grown form. I would have loved to see him come in it and just be maybe in the Teen Titans or something, but of course that didn't happen either. Uh, in terms of like when they decided to end the franchise, honestly, I felt like it was a bit early. I like it felt like it just got started in a sense. But honestly, I mean, it did have a good duration and stuff like that. It was like 10 years, I think. So, or 9, 8 years, I think. Yeah, it's no, it's not older than 10 years. I'll just say that. Uh, but again, like, that was just one thing. Uh, with that whole thing is just like, it felt like it was a bit short in a sense, but I mean, it was alright. I mean, most of the characters got at least one solo movie. I do wish maybe we could see like a sequel to some of those and stuff like that. So that's one thing as well. But I mean, yeah, DCAU was definitely a really interesting thing. I did enjoy it a lot. I hope they make another one, maybe or perhaps, or some kind of universe again, cinematic universe with these DC animated movies. I know they still release them, of course, and everything, but honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing like maybe an updated universe or something. Maybe they do some more things with the universe or something in a few years, I'll say, because I wouldn't want to just yet, because I'm still kind of, I'm not grieving over the loss of the cinematic universe, but I'm like still kind of sad that it ended and everything. So that's one thing. But I mean, other than that, that's pretty much it though. Uh, in terms of rating wise, I would give this probably an 8.5 out of 10. Definitely good universe. Just some stuff are kind of stupid choices. But anyways, that's pretty much it though. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace.